I think music and poetry are a free activity, almost like child's play, and I think that's a good way to move through life, is playing rather than working at it too hard, because if there was more music, if more people were playing, I think things would be a lot easier, it'd be a lot smoother, maybe. He'd be making films or writing plays, but if there were no problems, he'd still be making films. I think he just likes what he's doing, I think he just has fun making films.
Can we talk about the role of the police in America at your concerts? Do the line of policemen in fact become a part of the theatre?
Yeah, it's a real drama. You get a triangle situation: the audience and the police and the stage. And when you don't have that, when you just have a dialogue, it's just like a conversation between two people,
Is it easier in a triangle situation?
I better get that. No one's here. Would somebody get that and see who's down there? Well, usually I look on it as, a bunch of uniformed officers lined up in front of the audience. I think it's it does turn it into something that it's not intended to be. I think it's an incitement.
Is that something that you can make use of?
If you find yourself in a situation, you just have to go with it.
So tell us about New Haven.
Well, that whole story was reported pretty accurately. I mean, it was. I'm sure you know the whole thing. It was just like it was reported. I think in that case, if I'd known beforehand that New Haven had a history of things like that, I would have been more skillful in coping with it. But to me, it was just another town, that I'd heard the name, but I didn't know anything about it. And they have like a history of that kind of incident.
You say that the police are an incitement. They would say that you, Jim Morrison, are an incitement.
I was only, actually I was charged with, I don't even know if they said incitement. I think it was giving immoral or indecent exhibition or something like that. And that's a little different,
Do you have any defense against the accusations of being an incitement?
The charges were dropped, so obviously it was a mistake,
Why do you think some people think your act is immoral and obscene?
I think that was in one of the songs I related an incident that had happened backstage before the concert involving a police officer, and I think it was the fact that I was pointing out their existence, you know, kind of talking about them in a performance. And I guess they thought it was trespassing the bounds of art and reality or something. I think that was it.
What about Columbia, Maryland?
Usual town, though, you know, it's not like that. You know, that's the only time anything like that has happened. Because most of the places that I've played, and maybe it's since that incident, maybe they've just, I don't know, maybe they've been bending over backwards, but the police that I've talked to and had any kind of dealings with have gone out of their way to be gentlemen, you know.
You talk about trespassing the bounds of art and reality. Do you actually consciously think of that, or do you think of it as just art?
I wouldn't have done it that night, except that I was a little indignant about the way I'd been treated. I thought it was unjustified, you know, and I was still, you know, a little bit turned on by what had happened. So it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a song anymore. It was really, I was just kind of giving vent to a very personal feelings of the moment, rather than putting on a performance. I was actually, what would you call it? I was just letting out some very personal feelings that I had. Well, I don't like it when people in the audience start trying to be the performers, you know. I've always disliked that, you know. I mean, that has its place, you know, at a love-in or something, but or a party or something. But if people come to see you perform a work of art, then I think they should, you know, they've come to see it, and they should, you know, let you do what you're supposed to do. You know, if someone, it would depend. It would depend if someone in the audience. Yeah, because I want to say this. I want to clarify that. I felt for a long time that somehow we're all afflicted these days with the psychology of the voyeur, and not in a strictly clinical or criminal sense, but in our whole emotional and moral stance before the world. And anytime we try to break out of that bound of passivity, our actions usually seem awkward and obscene, like an invalid that's forgotten how to walk. However, you know, so I don't like a separation between actors and spectators, because I'm against that. I don't think there should be a separation at all. But you find in reality that if a person in the audience jumps up or just sits in his seat and shouts something out, and it's not good, if it's just, if it's stupid, or like if you get to them, if you affect them, but what they come out with is something petty, you know, then I think they should be put down. Or if someone jumped up on stage and tried to take away the microphone, well, if they were good at it, you know, and looked good and had something to say and did it good with style, I think I'd let them do it. But if it was some